For today's deck testing video, I'm going to be piloting a deck that I played a couple of times on stream over the weekend. This is a red and blue control deck, and the idea is basically to abuse Field of Poppies and giving everything fragile. So you're running a lot of the blue damage dealers. You've got things like Thunderclap, but I'm also running Maelstrom to combine with the Field of Poppies. There's Cataclysm in this list. And on the red side, you're combining it with things like Ignition, Firesong, Prodigy, Extract Life, Magmataur, and then the full suite of Fire Eaters. And as always, I'm going to go play 2 games, win or lose, on the ranked ladder, just to kind of showcase how the deck performs. I'll also put the deck list in the video description if you don't know how to import that list, because you can actually import it directly if you want to give the deck a try. I've got another video on my channel that'll show you how to do that, but we're going to just hop in and play 2 games and see how this goes. This video is releasing a little bit earlier in the day than normal. Typically my Mythgard videos I have come out in the afternoon, but later today there will be a Fellseal video. No Legends video today because the expansion is dropping and I wanted to wait and basically make content with the new cards. So no Legends video today if you're somebody who watches both this and my Legends content. We're gonna see who we hop into a battle with. I've been slacking on my ranked climbing, and I probably shouldn't be playing memes while I wait to do that, but here we are. I'm not quite to gold yet. Lost a lot of time when I was traveling for TwitchCon. This is an okay start. Alright, green. Green and a Kolobok. Grrr. Alright, let's just go ahead and do this. Sadly, no plays. So this will allow them to ramp. There is no scarier start for me personally in this game than turn 1 Kolobok, because ramp is so powerful. Oh, and purple. I think I've played against this person before. This name looks familiar. I feel like this is like a green-purple mid-rangey deck with a lot of ramp. I say mid-range because they just run a lot of really powerful like 5 and 6 drops, and that's what they're trying to work their way up to. So this could be a bad time for us. This could be a very bad time for us. Okay. We need to burn at least 1 red card here. We've got a lot of AoE, so I don't think the magmataur needs to be here, but we need to burn at least 1 because we want this fire eater to come down and deal with this. I honestly, I'm a bit concerned, mostly because this is a very bad matchup for our list. So queuing into this means we might not get to showcase the deck in all its glory. It's a bad matchup because our opponent has so many high health minions, right? That is a cause for concern. And when they have so many high health minions and you don't have direct hard removal, all of our removal is damage based, that can be a bit of an issue, a bit of a problem. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's get this poked so that we know what it is. I mean, pretty confident that it was going to be Shinobi of Wind there, but the downside is even if I plop something like Lore Broker in front of it here, and that's what we're going to do, they can still maneuver away
looking for information
and get some damage in. So bit of a feels bad here, but at least by poking it, it means our Thunderclap can clean some things up here in the future. We do also have Magnus here. So again, we've got a lot of AoE. It's just all direct damage based, which is, again, our biggest issue going against a deck that has so many big bodies. Now we can negate that with things like the Field of Poppies when we draw them, so that we're making sure we're dealing additional damage. Our opponent is playing the Turn of Seasons, so if we time things right and hit on winter, we deal that bonus damage, but it is potentially an issue. The only thing we have going for us here is if they want to save this ninja, they have to spend at least 2 of their mana for the impel. They dig deeper. And then I suspect they might just move the ninja. I kind of hope that we get the chance to attack with our lore broker. I want to see what they're sitting on in hand. Uh-oh. Burning a card. They actually ran out of time. Well, isn't that rather interesting? I think we're gonna get rid of this and actually use this thunderclap because I want to see what we're up against. So let's see what we got. See, these are the big bodies I was worried about, right? Lantern Colossus, the Tarragon, Leshy Green here is an issue. Those are very much so the big bodies that we were concerned about. Alright, so there is the Colossus. But because of the fragile, we can deal 2 damage to it here. And if I burn one of these angels, we can actually nuke it with this extract life and save some of our AoE, and I think that's reasonable here. It's the best we got for a bit. Landing an angel and sticking it is a pretty big deal because of the agile. So that's kind of next on our list, though I suspect we're going to have to deal with this Tarragon here. Oh, the Misfortune's an issue. The Detained Deported is another one. That's a great way to slow down our angels, so... That is the big boy. That Kraken's a pretty solid top deck for us as well, though. I think we just poke them for now. I'm a little worried about this as well because they can give themselves health gain. But I really like the idea of developing this Kraken, and then they play yet another big body, and by play I mean draw, but I assume that's going to come down, so perhaps not. It's entirely possible that they use this Detained Deported to just bounce our Kraken. There's not much we can do about it, like we just have to play into it. It is what it is. And again, there's the Detained. And it would not shock me to see a Deported come down here. Though maybe not. They did use the Detained on the Kraken. I would have expected... yeah, there's the Deported. So Detained probably should have went on the Lore Broker. Oh, interesting. They got rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to play the Misfortune here just because they want to push a lot of damage. So we take the overrun damage. We're just gonna keep getting our chip damage in. Now we still have one more detained, deported that we have to worry about. We're gonna burn this. And probably develop our angel here. Again, they're likely just going to bounce us, but that also still allows us to play this mend.
Lie still.
Because at this point, we're just trying to prop up our health total as much as we can. But overall, as I said before, this is kind of a bad matchup for us. Misfortune. I mean, misfortune's an issue, for sure. Alright, I think we just take the mend here. Yep, that's coming over. And then we're gonna likely take the overrun damage. Interesting, actually, that they brought that over, because with the fragile, that's a straight up trade. I would have thought that would have been a turn later. It's a very close game we got going right now. There's the Lantern Colossus, and they're gonna just slap the cloak on it right away because they want to eat my lore broker. Not exactly a shock. We can essentially still get rid of this between the ignition and the magmataur, so I think that's the play we have to take here. There was some consideration about the kraken, but that would just turn around and get bounced. So I think if we can get rid of the big bodies, we should probably take it for now. We would have liked to have saved the ignition to maybe go face and try to win with a cataclysm, but we're still way too far away from that. Now the good news is we've kind of survived most of their bombs at this point. So we, in theory, we could just use the cataclysm here to clear everything. And then they just have a couple of small bodies in hand, and we could plop down the kraken, which would at least force the detained deported. The other option that we have is we could brainstorm here. But then we don't have enough to brainstorm and play the kraken, even if we burn something that we draw. So I do think this is a cataclysm turn. Let's go ahead and get that in. Let's take the cataclysm. Could have burned ignition if we wanted to mend there, but I think saving ignition to deal with opposing threats is probably just more important. And so, again, with the detained deported, this kraken, the first time we play it, will absolutely not stick. Oh, that's actually not half bad, though. This means that we can do this. Thunderclap's not bad, but it does not help us deal with that. So I think we're just going to bounce this, actually.
Hit the road.
Yeah, let's just bounce that. So we did finally find a Maelstrom. Yeah, that misfortune's just going to be a kind of never-ending source of damage is our biggest issue here, but... Going up to 5 for the gallows boy. And a ninja. So the gallows boy is an issue. Because we don't have a good way to kill that at the moment. Now we can drop this field of poppies and thunderclap, and that will for sure kill the ninja. Could also... Yeah, that's probably still our best bet. Because we can do this. Again, that's going to survive, but we can at least just use the mend and then wait. Our biggest issue here again is like we can play the kraken, but it's just going to get bounced. So we're just trying to stall a bit. Another ninja. Stop. Alright, at least that's a big enough body that I can hit that with extract life. Let's actually just get rid of our kraken at this point. So we'll eat that. Oh. And then we're just dead, right? Like, I guess I could have, I guess I should have used the extract life, but the problem is that was still worth 4, 6, 7, 8. I think we're dead no matter what we had done here.
I'll take that.
8, 9, 10. Problem is, even if I put this in front to block here, I still end up taking 2 because of the misfortune. Plus they have detained deported anyway. Yeah, we're just dead no matter what we do. Alright. Well, as I said at the start of this was a bit of a bad matchup for our deck to begin with. I'm actually kind of surprised that we survived as long as we did. Grinning Kobolok. It is just not the opener that I want to see if I don't have a way to kill it immediately, because it absolutely means that you're going to have a bad time. So we're going to try this again. Toonstars Mono Red Vampires, huh? Mono Red Vampires should be a much better matchup for us. Just overall. I want to wait and be reactive with that, I think. Wait till they develop, and then you can plop it down and combine it with, like, Fire Eater, Maelstrom, etc. Because at 1 mana, it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so here, I think we burn the brainstorm.
Looking for information.
Just use this as a blocker for now. We don't want to burn this if we don't have to, but we're probably going to have to. Just to get our red. Now they can take this trade, but if they do, they basically have to use their infuse to do it, which is a bit of a win for us. That's good to know. We have to keep an eye out for the fawn dealing with our Maelstrom. Alright, we're just gonna say this right side of the board is ours. So they will likely start deploying over here. Yeah, this will be a much better matchup. The other one, like I said, too many just big bodies that we don't have direct removal for with this particular deck, and the insane Kobolok start put us too far behind, and we almost pulled that out last game, but I think this time we'll be in a much better position. Alright. I see you. I respect you. Alright, well, that's 2, so we can burn this one. Alright, we're going to try to protect our Fire Eater in the eye of the storm. Now, red's got a lot of rush creatures, right? So they can certainly rush into this. But then the Maelstrom will, you know, hopefully do its job. So in that regard, we should be fine. We're trying to force them into a pickle, right? Like, the idea of these Maelstrom Field of Poppies decks is that you dictate control of the board. If you can find them early, which we didn't last game and we did this time, you can kind of make people bend to your will by saying, like, you're going to go to the left side of the board, you're going to go to the right side of the board, because the other side is just going to be a bad time. And that's exactly what we are aiming to do. We're going to try to make this right side of the board just be miserable for them, and then knowing they have to play over here, we can develop over there, and then long term, if we find more Maelstroms and so forth.
Nothing lasts.
Alright. So that was one of the cards that we were worried about. So what do we want to do about it? Let's brainstorm. And, I mean, do we want this to die off faster? I don't think we do, actually. I don't think that we do. We don't have a good way to suppress it, so sadly it is just going to eat our Maelstrom, I think. I think we just want to take the damage to the face. And it'll just die over time, I guess. We get at least some value out of the Maelstrom. Ugh. When they burned one of these, I thought we were fine. I wasn't expecting them to find a second one so soon. It hurts me inside. Alright. This is something we need to answer, so we're going to lose our Maelstrom, but this is an easy thunderclap turn. Easy thunderclap turn. And they're going to panic raider here. Like, let's just be honest, like that'll be part of what they do. We might end up burning our field of poppies. Now that we've lost our fire eater and our Maelstrom, having it on hand isn't a huge deal, so we might burn that in favor of this kraken. Because once this thing starts cracking, pun intended, we'll be in a better position overall.
Lie still.
Alright, I might be wrong then. They burned the panic raider to develop the angel, huh? We're still gonna burn this, but instead we're just gonna use our freshly top-decked removal. The reality is we would have just bounced it, but then wings showed up. So that seemed better instead. Getting a ringmaster back from their journey is a bit annoying. Alright. So Icker's probably why they got rid of the panic raider. They just knew they were going to draw a bunch of cards. Alright, interesting dilemma here. Because with Infuse, they only need +1 damage on the wings to trade into our Kraken if we decide to go that route. Now we could bounce it, but the charge is an issue. Thunderclapping it by itself feels pretty bad. Could just develop our own angel. Saying like, I'm going to take the 4 and heal it back. And then go from there. I like that. Let's do this. Let's just develop the angel and then see if we can protect it. Now, it's entirely possible they have an answer for this, right? But forcing them to answer it, I think, is fine. They are also up to 7, so we have to start considering things like 7-ring ritual. But again, we're sitting on answers to that. So we're gonna wait and see what happens here. They're gonna answer the same way that we did. Okay. And then they're gonna feast again. Oh, that is not great for us. Not great for us. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and slap this down. And we'll just end the turn. There was a consideration to also burn that field, but I mean, the reality is our deck does technically top out at 6. We don't need to go more unless we want to play more cards, so I think holding on to it here is fine. I mean, we have the 3 gems, so if we need to thunderclap for more than 2 damage, we can play the field and go from there. And so there is the ignition that we were a wee bit worried about. Wow. Okay, I see you. I see you and I respect you. Both fire songs, huh? So we've seen both wings, both fire songs, and a ringmaster. That is a lot of firepower that they've already run into. That Fauna Decay was actually a pretty big deal. Oh yeah, this is thunderclap territory all day. All day. And it's a shame because they're just going to keep getting good stuff back. Like they're going to get a fawn back next turn. They already get this ringmaster back. And our hand is not well positioned. Love to find some more card draw. Yep, that's gonna hurt. Oh, it's really gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt. I'm actually, I think, gonna bounce this. Doesn't really help a lot. We're still gonna take at least, what, 2, 5. We might still just outright be dead here. Problem is, if we have this extract life, but it only heals for as much damage as it deals, which is why we didn't use it, because we would have essentially just healed 2.
Hit the road.
So we're gonna do that. It doesn't actually bounce, by the way. It came back from Journey, so it was ephemeral, so that's actually why this ends up being better. I just have a feeling we're gonna be taking a fair amount of damage here still. They have a lot of cards in hand, and we do not. Now we'll get to draw 2 this next turn, because we're rolling around into fall, but we're, again, not in a great spot.
Lasts.
This field will at least draw their interest from the fawn. Alright, Ice Spike and Angel. It's a dangerous spot, but we have to take the risk, I think. So if they have 5 damage, or they can answer our Angel, then we probably just lose. And with 4 cards in hand, those both feel very likely. The next Journey trigger is also bad, because they will get an Angel back. I mean, at least we'd get to gain 4 health from that, but I just feel like they have to have an answer for our Angel here, right? I feel like we're just on the cusp of stabilizing, but we've just run out of resources. It's kind of insane how well they've managed to shred all of our value because of those fawns. And make no mistake, like that's exactly what happened. Those fawns ruining our enchantments. The enchantments are like a negative tempo play for long-term value. So the fact that they found the fawns, yeah, that's what I was worried about. They found the fawns has kind of ruined us. Like, this was a good matchup for us, and now it's not at all. You have swift, but not agile. Gonna take at least 2 here, and then they're gonna again get back an angel. We have the extract life for that one, so this is probably prodigy, night, heal, pray. Oh. Yeah, those fawns. So rough. I mean, we still have 2 magmataurs in here. 1 more angel. Like, we really need to stick an angel to have a shot at surviving at this point. I mean, honestly, we just need to stick any real threat, but we really need to stick an angel at this point.
Looking for information.
So again, you only gain health equal to the health done, so that's why we only go to 8 here. Now with the infuse, they can obviously make this trade, so then we're still at the mercy of them having a superior amount of cards in hand, though they've burned through a lot of feasts. So like, we still have a brainstorm left, whereas they have played 2 Ichor feasts. So it's a lot of cards. And then between that and the panic raiders, I guess that's a big explanation for why they are where they are. That is not good for us. What's their next? Oh, wings, huh? We're in summer, so we draw 2 cards next turn. So that's the play, huh? Do this so it's stunned and hope we find what? Magnus? We've already used, I think, both of our thunderclaps. Find another ignition, firesong, extract life.
Nothing lasts.
There's an ignition. There's a magmataur. This could be a cataclysm turn, but then we just lose, is our biggest issue. I could burn a card, cataclysm, and heal, and we're exactly at 5. They get back Wings of Abaddon, they play it, they infuse, they win. So the alternative is what? An ignition, magmataur, they still get Abaddon back, this swings for 4, infuse, wings. I don't see a path to victory here. Man, we're going to go 0-2 with this. Both in some very tight games. Like, both times I feel like we're just on the cusp of surviving, but those fawns, they did a number on our enchantments. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing something here. But I think this is going to be it, gang. I think this is going to be an 0-2 kind of night. Yeah, this is sadly the only like real shot we have at this, right? So I have to burn this and mend. So if they can find 1 more damage, we just lose. But the problem here is also that we're only going to draw 1 card, and so we still just lose. Because we don't have a good way to deal with these, right? Like, I don't have a good way to deal with that. I don't have a good way to deal with Abaddon, which will for sure just be over here. And with one card, there's nothing we can really top deck. Like, we could top deck Magnus, for example, right? Magnus lets us deal with one, but even if I move this over, this has agile. If we get extract a life, because I'll be at 1, I could hit this for 4. But then, yeah, we're still not dealing with the others over there. Interesting they chose to do that instead of putting me at the 1. Not that it matters. Yeah, we're just dead. Like, you move this. I could put this here, and then we die on that side. I can put this here, and then we die on the other side.
Lie still.
Doesn't matter. The fact that this has agile is what does us in. Man, alright. 0-2. Feels bad. I gotta tell you, gang, I hate losing more than I like winning. So whenever I have some losses, it's a feels bad video, but it is what it is. Fawns. Fawns were the MVP there, because again, what you want to do with this deck is use Field of Poppies. You want to use Maelstrom to dictate your position on the board, but multiple Fawns. They played it against us, what, 3 times because of Journey? It's gonna be a nice quality counter to our deck. So that's it. If you made it this far, we play 2 games, win or lose. That's 2. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you in future videos.